My, oh my, it is all going off for the last few minutes. We've got here we goes. We've got official confirmations, announcements. It is all going off here in the world of Manchester United this afternoon. I think there's never been a more appropriate time to click the button. My, oh my, we've got some breaking news.
Breaking news.
Oh my goodness me, do we have some breaking news. Not only have we got a here we go regarding Joshua Zirkzee, we've also got official confirmation when it comes to Ruud van Nistelrooy, Rene Harker, departures as well from Mitchell van der Gaag, Benny McCarthy. We've got comments from Eric Ten Hag, we've got comments from Dan Ashworth. We've got everything going on right now, so be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. We're going to bring you all the news. We've got all of the quotes. We've got it all going on at the moment. My goodness me. Matt says, I swear Owen lives for the breaking news tune. Hey, some people say it's overused. Some people say it's not been used enough. Hey, I think now is the perfect time to be used. We've got a double whammy, double bubble. Let's get straight into the news regarding Joshua Zirkzee. We've got the first signing, I suppose not officially, you must be stressed right now, but we've got the first signing of the Ineos era. We have a here we go regarding Joshua Zirkzee just hours after the Netherlands were eliminated from Euro 2024. We have the news from Fabrizio that everyone's been waiting for. You can see it right there. Photoshop shirt and all. Fabrizio Romano has said exclusive. Joshua Zirkzee to Manchester United. Here we go. Man United will not trigger the clause, but pay slightly above 40 million euros with better payment terms in 3 years. Zirkzee signs until June 2029 with the option of a further season. And to be honest with you, I think Manchester United here, when it comes to this deal, may have pulled a bit of a blinder. The reason I say that is because with release clauses, they're pretty cut and dry, of course, aren't they? You can just, there you go, here's the money, here's £34 million up front. And we know, of course, when it comes to £34 million for most clubs, Premier League clubs, you go, oh, and it's not that much money, just pay the release clause. But what Manchester United have done here, they've said, actually, you know what here? We've got some PSR issues. Yeah, we've got some financial fair play issues. And in reality, we could give you £34 million up front. We know we're going to have some player sales this summer. But actually, we could save money here. You know, the release clause, again, is sort of 40 million euros. Let's just, instead of giving you £34 million up front, we'll give you 40, just stretched over 3 years. We'll save some money now. There's more money to kind of spread around into other transfers, i.e., Matthijs de Ligt, we're going to be talking about that in a bit as well, i.e. possibly Ugarte, i.e. possibly Lenny Yoro. We know the money's coming in when it comes to Mason Greenwood too. So I think for a rarity in it, I've been doing these transfer shows for a few years now, that it feels rare to come into one of these and say, you know what, it's pretty low cost. It's pretty fast. I mean, there's always a delay when it comes to international tournaments as well, particularly players that go to the latter stages that Joshua Zirkzee has. I think this smells of a pretty good deal for Manchester United. I do. And I'm pretty excited by the fact that Manchester United are being wise with their money, but also not cautious to the extent of we're not willing to do business. We'll just wait. We're not too sure about that. And it also does go to confirm those reports. And I know that Flex had kind of pushed back on this recently, saying, wow, with the Euros, you can still get stuff done, which you can, but you can only get it up to a specific point, can't you? You can only get it up to a specific point, which is, you know, a lot of the times the players will just say to their agents, look, work on it in the background. When I'm looking for, well, I'll give you, bring me a completed situation. Bring me a completed situation, go sort it out, go figure it out, and then I'll give the green light. And as I mentioned, within hours, I mean, last night, Netherlands, they're in a European Championship semi-final against England. They go out less than, 24 hours later, about 18 hours later, we've got a here we go from Fabrizio Romano, which is, this deal is happening, it is done. Now, when it comes to all of these other factors, medicals, etc., we haven't seen that just yet. It must be stressed. Romano has just said, once again, he's given the here we go. He's saying that Manchester United will pay slightly above the 40 million euro mark. Must be stressed, euro, not pounds, with better payment terms. Now, again, the release clause was 40 million euros for Joshua Zirkzee, which is around 34 million pounds. But again, Manchester United have said we'll pay a bit above that, but we'll spread it across a further amount of time. Some more news now. This is the beauty of what happens when you go live straight away. From David Ornstein, we're logging on to Ornhub. Oh, I don't know what kind of sound I can play with that one.
Oh, my heart.
We'll leave it at that. He has said that Joshua Zirkzee will undergo a Manchester United medical on Friday, 24 hours time ahead of his proposed transfer from Bologna, with the Netherlands eliminated from the European Championship following Wednesday's 2-1 defeat by England. Yes. Zirkzee will fly to the UK on Thursday evening, that is tonight, ahead of a medical. He's once again confirmed what Fabrizio Romano has said, which is Manchester United have not triggered the €40 million release clause in Zirkzee's contract, but instead will pay, he's given actually a specific fee here, a specific number, will instead pay €42.5 million and stagger their payment to Bologna over a 3-year period. And again, that's pretty good going, guys. I mean, you realise the way that Manchester United have structured that deal is actually sensational. I mean, take a real step back here. The release clause is €40 million, and Manchester United have said we'll pay you a little bit more over 3 years. Is it going to be a lot more? €2.5 million. I think that's a bargain, you know? And when it comes to whether the player's going to work out, look, we'll have to wait and see. I've got a clip that I'll play in just a second once again of Kevin Hatchard talking about Joshua Zirkzee, what you can really kind of expect from him. But certainly, I look at this and I say the economic side of it, the financial side of it. So that's 35 million quid over 3 years versus 34 million pounds up front now. And I know people can mock the whole, Manchester United paying in Klarna payments, but in the world of PSR and FFP, that's what you've got to do. You've got to get yourself the best deal you possibly can financially, and that's really what Manchester United, I think, have done here. Now, again, Ornstein is saying that Zirkzee will sign a 5-year contract with Manchester United, as had been reported previously. As with all of these Manchester United deals, it will contain an option for a further 12 months. So that's potentially a 6-year contract, hence going to 2029, possibly to 2030. But I think again, I think this is a really good bit of business by Manchester United. I'm pleased by the pace of it. I'm really pleased by the finances of it too. And I think it's really shrewd, and I think it's really smart. If you're enjoying the news, be sure to click the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right-hand corner. As I mentioned, we've got so much to get into as well. We're going to be talking about the statement from Manchester United regarding Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rene Harker, the departure of Mitchell van der Gaag, as well as Benny McCarthy in just a second too. Hansen's been a member for 2 years, 24 months. Has missed out on last season. Excited for United and for football again. Hope everybody is doing good. Big up to Hansen and big up to all of the members and all of the viewers in the chat at the moment too. So, regarding Joshua Zirkzee, regarding what we can expect, what kind of player, what kind of attributes are going to be coming to Manchester United, here's what European football expert Kevin Hatchard had to say about the future Manchester United striker.
Look, he's a really interesting player, right? There are not many players like him in the sense that he's quite a tall guy. He's fairly quick. I think he's 6'3". But he's not mega good in the air. He's not that classic centre forward that you might think that he's kind of, you want to pump in a load of crosses and he's gonna win them like a Füllkrug, somebody like that. He's not really like that. He's a guy that loves to take people on, loves to glide past them, wants to drop in, wants to link play. If you look at his stats in terms of like his passing ability, very, very good. You know, he's got plenty of assists this season for Bologna. And he was kind of perfect for what Thiago Motta wanted to do with Bologna, which was to have that presence in attack, but also somebody who was really good at all the link-up play and could make it stick and kind of let the other players, like Lewis Ferguson, before he got injured, they had a really good click, you know, getting forward from midfield. So he is unusual in that way. He can run in behind, but he won't always run in behind. You know, Rasmus Højlund, for example, is more that guy that will be trying to constantly,
make good runs,
you know,
we just don't
make
find
runs. Yeah, exactly. But look, Josh, It's really, really good. But what we don't know if he can do yet, hand on heart, is we don't know if he can score 20, 25 goals a season because he's never done it. The one thing I would say is that I remember when he first broke through as a teenager at Bayern. And I think he definitely scored in his debut. And I think he might have got the winner the following game. He might even have got
I saw a thing where he said he scored
games.
He scored three goals off his first 3 shots. I saw a stat of
Yeah.
He got a few goals really quickly. I saw that.
He definitely got a winner against Freiburg in his second game. I remember that because I think I did the game. And the first game, I think he might have got the winner in the first game as well. But he burst onto the scene and was doing really, really well. But it's Bayern, right? So they've got tons and tons of quality. He went to Parma. You wondered, is he really going to get to where we hoped he would get to? But then he went to Anderlecht and he scored a lot of goals in Belgium. Again, then you're thinking, well, is that the level? That's a good gateway, but is it the level? And then he goes to Bologna and works with Thiago Motta. And Motta's done a really good job and has now left. But it has done a really good job with him. So I'll be really interested to see what happens. I can see why United would look at him because he's different to what they have. And I think you need that sometimes. He and Højlund could play as a 2. I could see that. But I could equally see him playing as that lone front man, dropping in and kind of getting wider players involved. So, yeah, he's not the finished article. He's not a slam dunk, but I think he's a really interesting player.
A really interesting player is what Kevin Hatchard said. And stuff like that I think is really important because us as fans, look, what do? We go on YouTube, we go on social media, we look at the comps and all that kind of stuff and we get our mind made up. That is a guy that has watched him several games in Serie A, several games in the Bundesliga too. So certainly, again, I think from just the financial element of this, so I do want to sort of really focus on the financial element of this one. I think it is really a shrewd bit of business by Manchester United here. Now, again, we don't know wages or anything like that. I'm sure that will come out at a later date. But what we do know right now is that the here we go has been given by Fabrizio Romano. Joshua Zirkzee to Manchester United, here we go. We do know that United are not going to be triggering the release clause that is 40 million euro. Instead, paying just slightly above 42.5 million euro over a 3-year period. They're going to be staggering those payments. We also don't know, actually, it must be stressed, what the size of those payments are going to look like. I mean, I think when people hear staggered payments, they just assume they're all going to be of equal size spread over 3 years. There might be, actually, the bit up front might be quite small and it might be quite backloaded. It might be equal payments. It might be a small payment, a really big one, and then a small one once again. We don't know when it comes to that. What we do know, as I mentioned, is that he is going to have his medical tomorrow, Friday, ahead of this transfer. We do know that he's flying to the UK this evening. So really, with everything going well, hopefully, fingers crossed, not only could this be confirmed by Manchester United, really, I mean, in the next 72 hours, maybe by, the weekend, perhaps, maybe something like that. We shall see. But I think, again, it's very encouraging. I'm very excited by it. I think it's absolutely exactly what we need in terms of we need more striking options. And not only do we need more striking options, we need options up front that are different than Rasmus Højlund. It makes no sense to buy the same profile of player in terms of what's Rasmus's best qualities. Let's just buy a carbon copy. No, you want to have something different. It's a squad game. You need options. And from what I have read up about and what I've seen of Joshua Zirkzee, he is much more of a bring players in, get involved. Yes, he's a striker, but maybe more of these sort of modern strikers that, could be even classified as a false 9, could play as a 10, could play out wide. Certainly gives you different options. What we did see towards the end of last season, didn't we, with Højlund coming off the bench, he can be useful for that. Some games, you don't almost want that focal point. Sometimes you do want that that player that you can that can drop deeper, that can build up play to. So, as I mentioned, I'm very excited, and it's only the beginning. We're still, quite far away. I say quite far away, but still, a couple of weeks away from tour. And you would hope maybe there'll be a delay because obviously he was late into the tour with the Euros, rather with the Netherlands. Maybe he'll come later on in the tour, but this is one that can be done and sorted very, very quickly. So I'm again very excited by that, and I think it's the first of many. I don't think it's the first here we go The last Here We Go, rather. In the next few days, because I think with what's happened last night as well, the Netherlands going out, from all of the rumblings on social media today, it looks very, very likely that Matthijs de Ligt is going to be a Here We Go, I think, very soon. Once again, sped up by the Netherlands exit. We'll talk about it actually in just a second, because we do have some quotes from Fabrizio, from others, from Germany as well, particularly from Florian Plettenberg from Sky Sports in Deutschland, saying, after last night, he's had a chat with Bayern Munich today, De Ligt, and he said to them, I want to go to Manchester United. I want to get this done imminently. And I think there is an expectation that a deal, because the clubs are now talking with each other, there isn't much distance between the valuation. And this one, again, we could get a Here We Go really any time, probably early next week, maybe by sort of Saturday or Sunday with that one too. So things are moving very, 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 very quickly as well. So that is the Joshua Zirkzee news. Am I caught up when it comes to super chats here? I've got a couple. Yankman United says, butt up, Owen, for going live as soon as possible. I think it's big. I appreciate that. Jan says, for some context, such deals are equivalent to Anthony, £11 million only per year in the books. So refreshing to see pros at the club. Title charge. I mean, I don't have the the title charge button, but this is also why. And I will hammer home this point, by the way, because I remember the pushback at the time, and I thought, frankly, I thought it was a bit farcical. When not celebrating, but talk about getting in Dan Ashworth, Omar Barada starts in 2 days. Talk about getting in Jason Wilcox. You talk about some of these, Christopher Vaval coming in. You talk about these people that have been associated with transfers and the football leadership side of things, the executive side of things at Manchester United for the best part of a decade. Certainly the last sort of 5 or 6 years, but the best part of a decade if you're going all the way back to Woodward's and others. And when these changes were happening, there was this sort of a bit of a strange pushback of like, what does it mean? I just want to see transfers. I don't care about these people coming in. Give me players. I want players. And maybe it's the FIFA generation. Maybe it's the sort of modern day impatientness. And maybe it's just purely scarring because we've been hurt before and we don't want to be hurt again. I get it. But you have to understand how critical those appointments are to hopefully what we're going to do this summer and moving forward. You can't do all of these great deals, or we can't praise these kind of deals without having these people in the first place. They're the ones that are doing these deals right now. Dan Ashworth, he's the one that's getting involved and getting these deals over the line. If you go back and watch the interview Flex did with Keith Downey before, he mentioned when he came into Newcastle, part of his sort of job was getting these deals over the line, was coming in, right, let's finalise it, let's get it done. And that's how critical these people are. Same with Christopher Vaval, highlighting these people, negotiating, getting these deals done, and also getting the best value for money. So that's why there was an element of sort of happiness, there was an element of celebration, and that's why it was so important. And you could say, why you've been talking about Ashworth and these people for so long. The reason why is because they are critical. They are absolutely critical to this process. Without them, you are going to get what we have got for the best part of 10 years, which is overinflated fees, which is poorly structured deals, which is players that if they don't work out, we can't get rid of. Because this is also the other part here with Joshua Zirkzee. It might not work out. If it doesn't work out, Manchester United, the investment's not absolutely massive. It's not absolutely, we're just never going to be able to get rid of him. We've still got room to maneuver here. That's why those people coming in, they are so critical, because they are the people that are going to be front and centre of getting these things done. So as much as the players are important, and I know the players are exciting, and we have these kind of things, and you see the player in the kit and all this kind of stuff, that's great. But the really, really, really critical transfers have almost already happened. They're already through the door because they're the ones that are going to get these deals done. You can't have a beautiful, amazing house without building solid foundations. And those people are the solid foundations to build upon and hopefully have an exciting and optimistic transfer to build that around. So again, I think when I'm seeing the sort of finances involved in this deal, don't know the wages just yet, of course, but seeing the finances in this deal, his release clause was 40 million euros. We're paying 42.5 over 3 years. I think that's pretty shrewd business by Manchester United. And I think the speed of getting it done, literally the day after the Netherlands are out of the Euros, I think that shows his optimism and how keen he is on the move too. Of right, that's done now. Get me to Manchester United. Let's go and do that very quickly. Let's get that done. And we're also now looking at De Ligt. Sirens in the chat. Is it going to have an after effect? You know, sometimes they stop suddenly, go, feel like they're going to go again. But yes, so it's exciting. It's exciting, as Simon McGill there says in the chat. We
Done okay.
But okay is not good enough. Good is not good enough. Yes, we have
Done okay.
but we want to do a little bit more. Definitely, well, much more certainly, and hopefully this is the beginning of that. So that is the latest when it comes to Joshua Zirkzee. Let's move on to the staff shake-up. Let's move on to Rene. Do I have this one again? I've got to be careful with it, Owen. Rene.
Gotta give him that hawk tunes.
Yes, and Ruud van Nistelrooy, they have been confirmed in the last hour or so as well. Just as I was going live, this one was also confirmed. We can get it right up there on the screen. It was a Manchester United statement. Look at them. By the way, the quality of the picture is terrible. They look like they're melting, doesn't it? They look like... Are they really there? Or is this like a really shitty Madame Tussauds or something like that? Because it does look like they're made of wax. Doesn't matter, though. Because Manchester United have released a statement saying Manchester United has appointed Rene, get ready for it again.
Gotta give him that hawk tunes.
And Ruud van Nistelrooy as assistant managers of the men's first team to work under Erik ten Hag until June 2026. Ten Hag, first team manager, said, quote, I am delighted that Rene and Ruud have agreed to join our project, adding a wealth of experience, knowledge and new energy to the staff. Now is a good time to refresh the coaching team as we look to build on the achievements of the past 2 years and push to the next level. Speaking of Dan Ashworth, we got quotes from him too. The sporting director of Manchester United said, together with Eric, we are working to strengthen all areas of our men's first team operations, and refreshing the coaching staff is an important part of that. It's a particular pleasure to welcome Ruud back to the club where he enjoyed so much success as a player, and I know that he and Rene will help reinforce the winning mentality and high standards we are aiming for. Now, as far as outgoings when it comes to the club and this kind of restructuring of what is going on at Manchester United, the statement also clarified Steve McLaren and Darren Fletcher remain key parts of the staff as senior first team coach and first team coach. So McLaren and Fletcher, they're still going to be outwardly involved on the training ground and also, I guess, on the bench on match days too. Respectively, Mitchell van der Gaag and Benny McCarthy have left the club, which was widely expected and reported. Ten Hag has added Mitchell has decided that now is the right time for him to pursue his own ambitions in a number one position. I want to pay tribute to his fantastic service over the past 2 years and also to Benny for his important contributions. We send them our thanks and best wishes for the future. Now, as far as, Van der Gaag, well, he just, he wanted to leave and he wanted to be a first team coach. A manager. But I'm sure that was part of it. But prior to joining up with Erik ten Hag at Ajax, he was a manager himself in his own right. I think it's probably a combination of a couple of things, really. I think it's a combination of, yes, he probably had ambitions that he wanted to go towards. There was also reportedly, maybe some friction with some players in the squad. And also, I think importantly, certainly a desire, as Dan Ashworth has really said there in the statement. I think he's being pretty transparent and pretty honest with what he's saying there, which is we want to shake things up. We want to improve things. Things have to be different. We can't afford to stay the same, because we've seen what staying the same does to us. Yes, last season with a poor performance, there were mitigating factors, injuries and what have you. But if you just sort of step back and look at the bigger picture, over the course of the last decade, there are so many differing points of failure. So there's so many differing issues with Manchester United. And then this isn't to say that Rene Hart... It's the last time I swear.
Gotta give him that hawk tunes.
Rene, yeah, him, and Ruud van Nistelrooy. Oh, we're going to win the league now. It's going to get fixed. That's not, we can't go that far. But this is clearly a strong desire from Ineos, from everyone involved at the club of, right, this needs to be fixed. We have to change everything, or as much as we possibly can. Eric, you're going to be staying. You haven't got a new contract. It's been extended. You're still, extended probation. These new coaches are coming in. We're getting rid of some of those other coaches. Carrington, refurb. We've organised it to kind of make do at the moment, but that's being fixed up. We're doing signings. We've got a new CEO. We've got a new sporting director. We've got a new technical director. We've got someone that's been the head of I can't remember what Vival's title is. Director Global Negotiations bullshit or anything like that. I don't think that's the official title. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But it's a clear desire to fix things at Manchester United, improve the sporting culture, improve the sporting structure, and just act like a big club. Just act like a big club, act like the strong institution that Manchester United is, and also just get into 2024 a little bit. You look at how all of these other top clubs operate, and they have these structures in place. This is why maybe the ops kind of look at Manchester United and, I don't know, roll their eyes or whatever, because they have that at their clubs. It's kind of normal. But for us, it's not. For us, it's not normal to have structures in place. For us, it's not normal to have people that are in these positions that do have, good qualities, have a wealth of experience, haven't just had a career elsewhere, in the financial sector or bankers at the club, and you go, what have they got to do with football or anything like that? That's not normal for us. So to see this kind of structure be put into place, it's incredibly encouraging. To see Ruud van Nistelrooy back at Old Trafford and back at Manchester United, it certainly fills my heart, because Ruud van Nistelrooy, certainly as I was growing up, Ruud van Nistelrooy, it felt like scored every single weekend at Old Trafford. And I remember one of the first times I heard Ruud van Nistelrooy score, and you hear the Ruud, and you always used to get the people that would go, are they booing him? I can't believe they're booing this guy. He just scored a goal for you. And you go, no, it's not boo, it's Ruud. It sounds like the Simpsons thing with, are they booing me? No, they're saying Burns, Boons, Burns. But I'm getting distracted. It's incredibly exciting. When it comes to Ruud van Nistelrooy, he did well at PSV, came second, had a bit of a falling out with the club there. When it comes to René Harker, obviously as well, we spoke about it this morning when Go Ahead Eagles released a statement. He's longtime friends with Erik ten Hag. They worked together at FC Twente in the academy. So these are still Erik's guys. These are still guys that Erik wants to bring in. These are still guys that Erik wants to work with, believes he can work with. And it's encouraging. It's exciting. And again, it's more positive news for Manchester United, no doubt about that. He's where is it? Where's the button? Where's the button?
He's done it again!
I'm not going to do the last bit because you're not an effing bastard. Superstar Nathan Joseph has gifted not 5, not 10, not 15, but 20 United View memberships. Look at that, from Superstar Nathan Joseph. And some of the people that have been gifted them are Imran, Mac, CRZ, Aslan, Ishmael, Makish. We've got Esco, Akash, United, Mike, Remzin. I think that's everyone. It's moving so quickly, but big up Superstar Nathan Joseph. That's why I christened you with the name of Superstar, because that's what he does. That's what he does. That's why he's the GOAT. I need to get that one on the soundboard, don't I? That's why he's the GOAT. So big up indeed. We've got some more breaking news, guys. We got some more breaking news. I've got to press the button again. I can't breathe.
Breaking news.
Well, whilst we're in the mood for breaking news, whilst we're talking about Joshua Zirkzee, here we go. Whilst we're talking about the official confirmation of René Harker and Ruud van Nistelrooy, their incomings to Old Trafford to Manchester United, we do have some outgoing transfer news too. Manchester United have now just officially confirmed that Donny van de Beek has completed a permanent move to Girona in La Liga. Their statement says the midfielder has thanked the Reds fans for their warmth and support during his time at Old Trafford, which started when he signed from Ajax in 2020. Scoring a goal on his debut against Crystal Palace, he made 36 appearances in all competitions during his first campaign as a Red, which, by the way, is about half of the games he ever played for Manchester United. As I mentioned, in total, he played 62 times, also netting away against Watford in 2021, but has had 2 loan spells away from the club. In the winter window of 2022, he made a short-term transfer to Everton, finding the net in a Premier League game against Arsenal. Upon his return, a knee injury suffered against Bournemouth a year later was a terrible stroke of luck and cut short his season. Last January, he switched to Bundesliga side Eintracht Frankfurt on a temporary basis, but is now making a move to another of the big European leagues. Girona are competing in the UEFA Champions League after an excellent third-place finish in La Liga. Posting on Instagram, Donny sent this message saying, quote, "Dear Manchester United family, today is a memorable day as my adventure at the club comes to an end. I want to thank you all for all of your support throughout the years. From the moment we arrived at Manchester United, we felt extremely welcome and we are grateful for that. Thank you to everyone at the club for making us feel at home. A special thanks to all the fans that made these years unforgettable. Besides the football, the birth of our 2 children here ensures that Manchester will always have a special place in our hearts. Good luck to everybody. We'll meet again." United conclude the statement by saying everybody at United would like to wish Donny the very best of luck in the next chapter of his career, which of course I echo. When it comes to Donny, I mean, we spoke about it quite a lot a couple of days ago, Flex and myself on the Transfer View, the morning show. He just needs to play football, doesn't he? Just needs to play football at this point. His career effectively has been put on hold for 4 years. I mean, we signed him in 2020, and he's not. How many games they say there? 62 games in total across 4 years for Manchester United. And during that time, I don't think he's played for the Netherlands since 2021. Yes, there have been injuries and things of that nature. But at this stage, he just needs to play games, try and get his career back on hold. And on top of that as well, without sounding too callous, it just needs to not be Manchester United's problem anymore, hasn't it? The reality is we've been trying to sell Donny for the best part of 2 years. And this is why I circle back to why it's so critical to have those people in that are doing these deals, because realistically, Donny van de Beek should have been sold 2 years ago. Now, again, injuries have sort of played a part in that, etc., etc. But it's important to get. Donny's not even the biggest earner or anything like that, but it's important to get those players off the wage bill and just not have that sort of excess sort of bloat of the squad that United have had in recent years. So it's the first outgoing. We know it's not a huge amount of money. Is it like 500,000 euro up front? Could rise to maybe 4 or 5 million euros. Could potentially, with some more unrealistic add-ons, rise to possibly 14 to 15 million euros. But I think it was just a case of realistically just getting the player off the books, getting them out the club. We bemoan players staying, and then we complain when we try and sell them that we can't get too much for them. But look, when you don't play that much football for 4 years, it's always going to be difficult, always going to be very, very challenging. But hopefully, when it comes to departures, this summer, it's the first of many. We absolutely do need several departures this summer, and this was a relatively easy one to do. And hopefully with Donny, legitimately, hopefully it does work out. Hopefully he's playing again. Girona, as they mentioned in the club statement, in the Champions League. And it could be a complete masterstroke, couldn't it? It could be a real masterstroke. So obviously wish Donny the best in his future, in the next chapter of his career too. Where are we at in terms of likes? We've got over 1,000 people watching. We're at exactly 500 likes. So if you haven't already, click the like button and be sure to subscribe to bottom right-hand corner. We recently hit 170,000. Now the road is up to 200,000. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Super chat from Akash says, very concerning if Zirkzee is on more than Rasmus. I mean, I don't know what Zirkzee's wage actually is at Bologna. Let's have a look. Zirkzee wage. How accurate this is, don't know. Time will tell. But in terms of pounds, let's have a look. Allegedly, because it says here, not verified, allegedly, he is on a weekly wage of close to £19,000 a week. Wage. Now, if Manchester United dare put him into something ridiculous, I'm talking 100k plus, I will roll my eyes at that one. I get going to Manchester United. I get the step up, but that's not necessary. Okay, that's not necessary. Can we get him up to 60? Can we get him? Can it start 60? Improve year on year. Heavy bonuses. You know, that kind of thing. I mean, Donny van der Beek, what was his wage? I swear Donny van der Beek's wage was under 100, wasn't it? I think, I'm going to say, I think it was like 60 or 70, perhaps. Or no, it was 120. Oh, my goodness me. That's why you're talking about getting him off the wage bills or whatever. And he's not even one of the highest earners. 120. Holy shit. So, yeah, I mean, because it's a low number. That is a low number, isn't it? So hopefully Manchester United don't go crazy. Let's hope. Let's hope. Yes. What are people saying here on the chat? People are saying John James says he's on 100k. Owen, what, Zirkzee or Donny? But according to this, they say Zirkzee's to 20, well, close to £20,000 a week. But we shall see. Where did you get 60k from? That's Youth League money, is it? I don't think 60k to play in the Youth League. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Zirkzee will be on 100k here. That's what you means. All right, I see. Well, actually, let's have a look. Once again, it's always interesting to look at the Manchester United wages. Because if he was on, let's say he was on 60, who would he have parity with? Bear in mind here, guys. Bear in mind, for all of those saying, "Oh, he's not going to be on. He's not going to be on that." 60. If he was on 60k a week, he would be earning more than Alejandro Garnacho. He'd be on the same wage as Scott McTominay. He'd be on less than Johnny Evans. You've got the likes of Dallo, Malacia, Greenwood. Dallo's on 85. Malacia and Greenwood are on 75. You've got Rasmus Højlund's. Rasmus Højlund's on 85. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's on 90. So I'd be looking in that bracket again of 70 to 60. 70 to 60. If Manchester United are serious about re-establishing a wage structure from a guy that's at the moment on under 20, if they go anywhere near 100 or even just below that, then they are mad. They are mad. So I would suggest, again, I'm looking at around sort of 60, that kind of number. Maybe a little bit more. Again, Rasmus Højlund's on 85. Maybe it might be a bit under 70 or something like that. But nowhere near. Nowhere near. So for those that were saying, 60k's youth money, definitely not. It might have been in the past for Manchester United, but definitely not. No doubt. But we will see what happens with that Manchester United. That'll be another step, won't it? No, that'll definitely be another step to how Manchester United operate. Bonehurt's been a member for 1 month. Says, so you're saying Manchester United are moving like a real club again? Hopefully. Hope so. A lot of announcements going on today. A lot of announcements indeed. And we might be on our way to another Here We Go very soon. Luxil says, oh, and tell us Casemiro's salary again. Once again, the highest earners at Manchester United. Casemiro, 350. Marcus Rashford, 300. It says here, Jadon Sancho, 250. Which is interesting because Jadon Sancho's wage, allegedly, it's bounced around all over the place, hasn't it? When it comes to how involved he has been, etc. So the Sancho one I know is very sort of disputed, isn't it? But they're saying on here 250. Mason Mount, 250. Bruno Fernandes, 240. And that's why, by the way, there are all of those links about, he wants a new contract because he's looking at a situation where Mason Mount, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford and Casemiro all earn more than him. And he's like, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. So that again, that's going to be a critical part of it. That's why I'm always hyper-focused on the wages. Even Donny there, 120k, he was the... Wait, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He was like the 12th highest earner at Manchester United, Donny van der Beek. And I know this is why wages never equate to quality or anything like that, but Donny van der Beek was on the same wage as Lisandro Martinez and Andre Onana. It's that's out there, okay? That's the wage structure at Manchester United. Same amount of money, Donny as Lisandro Martinez. Lisandro Martinez, £120,000 a week. Donny van der Beek, £120,000 a week. Kind of mad, isn't it? It's kind of mad. And then you look at other names. Anthony, £200,000 a week. Harry Maguire, £190,000 a week. So that's why I say, Manchester United, don't you dare, when it comes to Joshua Zirkzee, even think about touching or going anywhere near that £100,000 figure. We're looking at 60 to 70. Maybe a little bit closer to Rasmus Højlund's on 85, but that's why. That's why I say that. And that's also part of the challenge that those coming in from Ineos, your Dan Ashworths, your Omar Barada, that's how they have to figure that all out. They have to go, we've got to try and do deals when people are going to look at going, wow, Mason Mount's on 250k a week. So what about my agent? Anthony's on £200,000 a week. What about my player? What about that? What are we going to do about that? So yeah, that's why it's always important to look. And those figures, some of them might not be totally accurate, but they're certainly in the right ballpark. Absolutely in the right ballpark. So yes, very. And frankly, because I think De Ligt's on about £250, £1,000 a week at Bayern. If he was willing to take a pay cut, then he'd be getting into that sort of figure of nearly the same amount as Anthony. Like, oh my God, it's bad. Speaking of Matthijs de Ligt, though, there's also some updates when it comes to him today from a lot of different sources, a lot of credible sources. First of all, Florian Plettenberg in Germany, he said, it's decided. We've been told that Matthijs de Ligt wants to join Manchester United with immediate effect. FC Bayern have been informed about his decision. Advanced talks between the clubs now, but not a done deal yet. Verbal agreement between Manchester United and de Ligt about a long-term contract is done. His agent is now working on the final details to get the deal done and sealed. Medical is not booked just yet. Another German journalist, Kerry Howe, said Matthijs de Ligt has made his decision. He definitely wants to leave FC Bayern and move to Manchester United. The defender has agreed a long-term contract with the English club. His agent is working with the clubs to close the deal. Negotiations are well advanced and an agreement is close. That's once again coming from Sky Sports in Germany alongside Florian Plettenberg. Fabrizio Romano has also said de Ligt has told his agent 2 weeks ago, only Manchester United, no negotiations with other clubs. As I mentioned, this contract has been done until 2029, 5 years. De Ligt only wants United. Negotiations between Man United and Bayern are also proceeding very well. And a bit more on this, according to Romano. They're also close on reaching an agreement on the fee. Talks are progressing. Bayern are insisting on 50 million euros, which I think is 42 million pounds, with Manchester United structuring the proposal with add-ons included. United want both Zirkzee and de Ligt deals done as soon as possible. I believe Romano has also said that when it comes to de Ligt, here we go on that one is probably expected early next week, possibly even before then. But if negotiations are advanced, if that figure is 50 million euros, 42 million quid, and United are pretty close with that one, I would also expect to here we go on that really any day now. Any day now. I mean, they're saying early next week, could be again in the next couple of days. But that one looks to be very close. And possibly too, we might be looking at a situation a bit like with this Zirkzee deal that United go, okay, 50 million euros. How do you want to structure it? We want to spread it again across 3 years. We want to do this. And they go, oh, if that's the case, then it's 52 million euros. Okay, something like that. So this one does look to be, again, be very close, to being done. And that could be 2 here we goes in the space of a couple of days. Once again, it's no coincidence that this news is massively accelerated the day after the Netherlands go out of the European Championships. So that once again confirms that the things that were maybe slowing these deals down a little bit was just the fact that they were at the Euros. Yes, they weren't actively playing or actively starting games, but still they were involved and the focus was purely on the European Championships. But Manchester United making big moves. Now, as far as it comes to Matthijs de Ligt, what about him? What qualities would he bring to Manchester United if indeed he does sign with the club, which looks like he will? Well, Flex recently spoke to Ajax, who of course watched de Ligt play over and over again when he was the captain of Ajax earlier on in his career. And here's what Ajax had to say about what could be a future Manchester United centre-back.
How has it gone from him from Ajax to Juve to where he is now? Has he experienced some problems? Would he be a good option for Man United? Would he be a good option for Erik ten Hag to take this team forward? And is there anything in that?
I think there's definitely something in it. I think Bayern are clearly wanting to make big changes this summer. They're looking at players who they're willing to sell and get big fees for so that they can fund some of the other business they're trying to do. You've got to bear in mind there's been a big change at the top of Bayern in the last year, 18 months. They've had Christoph Freund go in there as a sporting director. Max Eberl as his boss has gone in there. So there's new ideas. There's a new coach in Vincent Kompany. So there's a lot of new voices, new ideas, and that inevitably leads to change. And you're getting guys that previously would have been unsellable, like Kingsley Coman or Joshua Kimmich or Leon Goretzka. Suddenly you're thinking they could be on the move. And I think De Ligt is one of those. I don't think he wants to be. Everything he said indicates he wants to stay, wants to fight for his place. But sometimes if the door's shut, the door's shut.
Yeah.
So I think he's a bit unfortunate. I like him very much, always have. I think he is somebody that, if you go back to that Ajax team under Ten Hag, a lot of the time he was holding the whole thing together at the back, really, because of the way they played. So, you know, he got really good tune out of him back then. He went to Juventus, and there were some big dogs in that squad who did not take kindly to a centre-back coming in.
Youngster as well.
And I think you can guess who those were. So, you know, it's then very, very difficult psychologically to feel settled. If you, instead of having guys that will welcome you, and I'm not saying they didn't all do that at Juventus, but look, there's going to be one or two players who are going to be threatened. They're not going to like it. They're not going to make life particularly pleasant for you. And so that was difficult to really establish himself. He had all this pressure, all this scrutiny. He's gone to Bayern, and it's coincided with a difficult time for Bayern because last season, or it depends what you think last season is, but the season just gone, let's say, they didn't win the league. He had some injury problems. The season before that, they only won the league on goal difference, and they didn't play particularly well. So they had some...
Last day, wasn't it? And Dortmund messed it up.
Yeah. Musiala scored 89th minute. So they had some changes at the top. He had some injury problems, but I like him. I think he defends. He does the defensive basics well. He's brave on the ball. He is a leader. You listen to the way that he talks. He's very honest. He's happy to really kind of criticize himself, but criticize his teammates as well. I don't mind that. I think that's fine. So yeah, I think he would be a good signing for any top club, really.
I tell you what is interesting is Ajax nowadays is looking really a lot like Kevin Hatchard, isn't he? He's looking very, very similar. I'm quite surprised by that. I thought, oh, I tell you what, he looks a bit similar, doesn't he? He's looking. Oh, it is interesting. I was wow, I didn't kind of expect that one. That is quite curious, isn't it? Very, very similar to Kevin Hatchard. Hopefully, maybe the clip might be ready now. I don't know if it is or not, which is maybe a bit concerning. But still, it's remarkable. I mean, very, very interesting, that one. How similar he's looking to Kevin Hatchard. Do you know what it is as well? It was when I said all that, and I went, as soon as the press, you go, that's not Ajax. That's not him. I'm not sure if that is. Let's try it again. Fingers crossed. It might not work. I feel like this might be a Flecknology moment. Let's have a look.
Matthijs de Ligt is a fan favorite for us. You know, he made his debut for Ajax when he was 17 years. He was our youngest captain. You know, with 19 years and a few months. Now it's on Joral Hato's name because he was captain one game this season, I believe, and he's 17. But he's been amazing. He was very important for us in that 18-19 season. He scored very important goals also from the set pieces, like corners, headers. You know, he's quite well with the heading ability. And he's just a strong guy, you know. He's still only 24. But the amount of games and experience that he has under his belt already, it's unreal. And not only in the Eredivisie and in Europe, because he played a lot in Europe. He was actually I believe, the youngest player to ever play in a Europa League final against you guys in what was it, 2017, 2018? When we faced each other, he played then. So he's just terrific player and very young, and also the experience that he got in Italy, strong competition, especially defending. You can learn a lot there. And now in the Bundesliga, in a strong competition, I think the experience that he has is insane. And I value him very highly.
What do you think of him now? Do you think he still has the minerals to be the player that you saw when he was younger, and he's just had a tough season, or do you think he isn't as maybe good as we think he is, or how do you see it? Because he's not getting in at Bayern a lot.
No,
he played 30 games last year. Though,
he is good, man. He is good, and the reason that the coach now didn't choose for him at the national squad is that Stefan de Vrij is doing very well, and he's not dropping Virgil. So it's a choice, you know. Virgil is our captain. He is written in stone. It's one of the first names on the sheet. So and the difference with the Vrij compared to de Ligt is a defender that marks really closely. As a striker, you can always feel him in your back, you know, because he's aggressive. He's on there, and the Vrij is more of a little bit more versatile in the way he defends. Sometimes he's short, sometimes he is a little bit more waiting for what to happen and tries to anticipate. So it's what you want to play compared to what you already have. Virgil is also a little bit more stylish, like Matthijs de Ligt. He likes to come short and be aggressive, you know. So that's why probably at this moment he chooses for de Vrij. Doesn't mean that de Ligt isn't quality enough to play there. It's just the style and the way they match together as a center couple, you know, that he now chooses for Stefan de Vrij. But for me, I didn't watch every game of Bayern, of course. I think the talent is immense and it's still there. And if you can steal him, and I say steal, for 50 million euros, you should do that. Because Bayern paid a lot more for him when he came from Juve. And actually, Juve paid more for him when he came from Ajax because they paid 75 million euros. So for a 24-year-old defender with his ability and with his level that he can reach, because I believe he's not at the peak of his level at the moment, you know, at his ceiling. Also because he's not been playing regularly, of course. So this is something that is a steal for me. And I think Ten Hag knows what kind of player he is and what kind of talent he has and can bring to the table. He's a leader, man. And you guys are fond of Martinez, what he brings to the team and his mentality. But the mentality of this guy also is elite, because what he did, what he also meant for Ajax, being a captain at 19 years old. And not only a captain, there were much mature players in the squad. He was the captain, not players that are more mature, like a Blind or like a Tadic and stuff, that, you know, is like in his 30s. He also was a captain on the pitch. He led the team, you know. He made important goals against Juventus in a quarterfinal with a header. Even against Spurs that we got eliminated, unfortunately, he made a header goal. He's just, for his age, he was very mature. And now the question is, how will he, you know, do in the Premier League?
Yeah, how do you think he would, attributes-wise, still? I
think attributes-wise, it's a good fit for him because he's quite strong, you know. He's physical, he's strong, but also quite, his pace is good for a defender. So I think a matchup with Martinez could work very well because they're different kind of players and they have a different kind of style. And he is also quite good with his head, you know. Not only defensively, but every season you just have to look up his statistics. He always scores a few goals. You know, he's always good for 1, 2, 3 goals a season. So he's an extra threat also going forward with corners and with free kicks. And that is something that's also necessary in a team, you know, a threat from the back. Also, he's comfortable on the ball, passing it, because he comes from the Ajax Academy. So really the youth products coming from the academy are always quite comfortable with playing the ball. And this is something that Ten Hag likes, you know. He likes to build up from the back. So it's another player that can help in that situation. Don't forget, Flex. Don't forget about his accolades. This guy, when he was at Ajax, he won the Golden Boy Award. He was voted biggest talent of L'Équipe the same season of the world, you know. And don't forget, he's also the first defender ever to win the Golden Boy Award. That says something, man, at that age. So the talent is obviously there, but you have to have the trust. You have to fit the system. And you can be sure that the match between Ten Hag and him will be a good one because he knows him through and through. and vice versa. So if all those pundits, if all those established companies value him that high, the talent doesn't go away after a few years.
The talent doesn't go away after a few years. Big up to Kevin Hatchard there, obviously. Strong Dutch accent, Kevin Hatchard. No, of course, that was Ajax. Big up to him. And you get a bit more of an indication as to Matthijs de Ligt. And as you saw right there on the side of the screen, that whole interview is out, speaking about de Ligt more in depth, speaking about Erik ten Hag, etc. So be sure to check that out too. So if you are just joining us, before we wrap things up very quickly, we do have our first Here We Go of the summer from Fabrizio Romano. It looks like Manchester United's first signing is going to be Joshua Zirkzee. He's going to be having a medical tomorrow. He's flying to Manchester this evening, flying to the UK this evening, and there could be an official announcement when it comes to that, possibly over the weekend. When it comes to de Ligt, we could get a Here We Go very shortly with that one too, maybe Monday, maybe even before then. We also got confirmation on Ruud van Nistelrooy and Rene Harker as new assistant coaches, replacing Benny McCarthy and Mitchell van der Gaag respectively. They have officially exited Manchester United. We've also got confirmation on Donny van der Beek, his permanent transfer move to Girona. That's all happened in the space of an hour. My goodness, there's a lot going on, isn't there, at Man United? And it's only just begun. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner, because as you know, if something happens, if we get any more breaking news, of course, we'll be live. We'll be all over it. So be sure to click that notification bell. And, of course, What the Devil is going to be coming up later on this evening too. So check out the guys from United District. And I'll be back with you tomorrow morning. I'm out of here. Have a good one. And possibly some more transfer news soon. I'm out of here. Peace.